Okay. Uh, Good afternoon and good evening in other parts of countries. Welcome to Research Circle. Today's webinar topic is study opportunities abroad without tuition fees. And our today's guest speaker is Dr. Mohammad Hussein Abdul Jabbar. Uh, he's currently working as a research scientist, Fuel Cell Batteries Group, Nissan Technical Center, North America. He has been in the part of many research organizations, and he has published many research papers nationally and internationally as well. Has attended many conference presentations as well, and he's been honored with the awards like Ministry of Science and Technology's scholarship for Masters Research, Korea government funding distinction received from undergraduate degree BTech from Anna University, India, presented in several national level conference and bagged prizes for best review during the undergraduate course in India and many more. So without wasting further time, I would like to invite Dr. Mohammad Hussein Abdul Jabbar, sir. You can continue.
Thank you. Thank you, Research Circle, for giving me an opportunity to present some of this important information, basically, that could be used for a lot of people who are trying to do studies abroad and the hardships and how to overcome those hardships. So, as introduced, my name is Mohammad Hussein. I'm a research scientist at present at Nissan, and I'm presenting from Michigan, USA. So here is a brief profile of me. So it's important that you should know who I am in order to get my message. So I do have a PhD from Technical University of Denmark. That's one of the premier institutes in Scandinavia. And then I do have, one second, please. I do have master's degree from South Korea, and then I did my undergrad from India. So I traveled outside India for studies. That itself gave me some kind of eligibility to explain the process. And I found some of this information through a lot of hardship. So I thought I will share and I will find a platform to share. And today I feel good that Research Circle let me share this information. So right now I'm working on fields like fuel cells, batteries, polymer LEDs, and polymer solar cells. Like these are the expertise I gained through my education and then some through experiences. I have around 15 patents right now and then more than 20 publications. So let's see my kind of information I have for you. So the first thing is a lot of people in India are so good and we are a lot in numbers. And a lot of us want to study, but then we don't get much opportunity. And in that, outside India, we have a lot of opportunities as well. And when we think of going from India to some other country, we have to face a lot of challenges. I know not every one of us is rich, not every one of us is coming from a background that our parents can support our education to go abroad. So we need to find a way. And I feel if you are motivated enough and if you think you really want to go abroad and study and make your career and make your platform and even go back to India to work, there are several ways. That's my whole message today. So what I did is I did my undergrad, as everyone of us did probably, those who are listening today, or in respective countries. And then I did my master's in Korea. That's kind of 2 years. It's been a while. I think I went around 2007. And for the 2 years, I did my master's. To be honest with all of you, the 2 years is my golden period. I enjoyed my stay in Korea. It's like game changer for me. It just gave me different thoughts. I met different people from Southeast Asia, and they all gave me a lot of different thoughts, and it actually opened up several things. And during that 2 years, I did not pay any tuition fee. Rather, I received some stipend. So that helps me, that motivated me. And it's not actually my original destination. South Korea is not my original destination. I want to go to UK for my MBA degree. I prepared for that, and I did all the examinations that is required for that, and I got in few universities as well, admission in few universities. But when I saw the kind of the invoice from the universities, they wanted like immediately like around 15 lakhs Indian rupees, and then the expenses went on. Like you have to be really prepared. And when I saw that expenses, I thought I cannot really afford. But there are a lot of people to help to go to UK. There are a lot of consultancies. There are a lot of educational programs that I mean it's like as Indians we want to go to an English speaking country, and the most popular is US, UK, Australia. So there are a lot of resources basically for UK. Then after seeing that fee, and then I know that my parents cannot afford, and I don't want to afford that much fee to go to UK. I turned, and then I and one of the professors who was there, he kind of gave me a clue that there is a possibility in South Korea for the higher studies. Then I chose South Korea. I spent 2 years, and from there I applied to actually Denmark for my PhD, and that's kind of 3 years. And also there is no tuition fee for PhD, and most of us know in abroad PhD is considered as a qualification because you did like 4 years of your undergrad and then you do 2 years of masters. You're already qualified and you're eligible to get some stipend. You shouldn't pay any fee because you're kind of a developing researcher by just doing this already. And I did 3 years in there in Europe, and that gave me a rich experience about a Asian-based system, which is too strict, and coming to a European-based system, which is not that strict. At the same time, they still give you the proper tools for you to get a professional degree in the field you want. And I studied fuel cells in there. And then I also spent like a couple of years after my PhD. There are a lot of opportunities in the companies, but I want to go to a country where it's a little more diverse in population and so on. So I then moved to USA, and from then, like since 2013, I'm in USA. So I have rich experience in like almost like three different parts of the world, basically, like a developed Asia, and Scandinavia is one of the richest and rich in the sense it's rich in everything like education, wealth, and it's socially good. And as you know, Denmark is the happy country. And then the hardcore USA, which is everything is happening solid, and it's a land of opportunity. So now I want to give you some background for this webinar. So if you see people, as I just alluded to you all before, a lot of people from India, when they want to do their higher studies, assuming you have done your undergrad in India and then going for a master's or further studies, the people choose like English-speaking countries because it's so popular destination. It might have lesser barrier than a country where English is not widely spoken. In that category, as I said, USA is popular and a lot of people go to USA. We study hard, people do GRE from the beginning, from their third year of their undergrad. And then Canada is actually becoming super competitive, and it's a very good place as well. Australia, UK, New Zealand, and all that, it goes on here. I'm not sure why UK. Yeah, it's UK is here. So if you see those countries, it's the majority of them is English speaking, and the number of students are here. But there are other countries, even people go, and if you talk with them, usually people won't talk because we have our perceived notion that, like when you see some countries like this, like we may not even think that there is a possibility for education and there is a cutting research going on and so on. So the whole idea I want to give you is just be open-minded. I'm not saying go to Ukraine for your higher studies, but I'm saying you should be aware of, I mean, you should be thinking outside the box. Just don't be within the mindset of the top countries. Just think outside. There are several opportunities actually. And the other thing when we think of higher education is it's popular, and we all do the B. Like, as you know, once we completed our undergrad, the arts courses or rest of the courses are kind of underestimated, and every one of us want to do the engineering courses, and that actually continues. So people go for higher education in the engineering field. That's a lot in numbers, and I also actually support it. I mean, you may do courses for your interest, that's for sure. That could be there. The other fields of study, like a language course, you can be interpreter and so on. But engineering, the popular thing about that is we have funds everywhere. So if you have a hardcore like me, for example, fuel cells or batteries, like US government has a lot of money, and what I'm trying to say is professors might have a lot of money, so they can easily take you as a student if you're in engineering. So it's kind of less kind of competitive than others in terms of getting a funding. So it's engineering. And the second most I see, I mean, I have seen a class in the University of Maryland where one whole class is full of Indians, probably some Chinese. They have the major in computer science. So it's like the entire Indian group, when they come here, they can club together. They are in one class actually, even though it's a US. Like then a lot of people from computer science background, they come to US for their masters. And I'm also seeing that they have some good experience, like work experience, and then they come over. Physical life sciences, they like right now it's a hot topic, like during this COVID time and so on. And business administrations as well. So it's also kind of a welcomed course. And I might put a caveat that business and management are always expensive. It's not free, tuition fee anywhere. You might be a super intelligent guy to pass some competitive exam, probably in Philippines or somewhere. They have this Asan Institute of Management and so on, where they give you like a very good scholarship, but it's very uh, difficult to get something free for the management. I just want to put, because I don't know who's going to listen, like which favorite group is here listening. So I want to generalize this based on the groups so that everyone knows their opportunity. So studying abroad means we have a lot of dreams. Like every one of us, when we think of abroad, we might have our own goals. We might go for networking, we might go for socializing, we may have a relative or so on. But there are some real benefits of going abroad. Its first thing is we have the education system that's kind of in built with us, and we all have the same thought process. If you want to change that, we need to have a different type of education. The quality of education is very important. And my experience in Korea is completely different from in Denmark, and completely different from USA and from India for sure. So I just went through like 4 different. Like for example, South Korea, it's like the exams are super hard, and people study very much. Like the students, like they put a lot of efforts, and professors kind of, they're very strict in the revisions and so on. But it's Asian country. Just when I moved from Korea to Denmark, it's a different thing. They do open book. So it's like they give you like 3 hours of time, and then they give you a book, and they ask you complex questions. The open book doesn't mean that you're going to sit and copy. They are going to give you some mathematics based on the living examples that's already in the book. So you can refer that as an example, but they're going to give you a different set of questions. So it's like more challenging actually than studying for the exam, sitting before the classes and studying too much, and then go and probably like doing it in a different way. So we can understand the different things, and the quality of education in different countries is much different, and it's good basically if you go outside your home country. And you will face new challenges, as I said. Going to abroad and living in there with the little funding, and getting acquainted with the culture and friends and new life is not easy. So we will learn how to kind of overcome those challenges. And let's say Denmark is super cold. Like it's not easy country to survive. It's like you have to be a little bit thick-blooded for that, thick skin. So those are the challenges. But you will. I mean, we have a condition that we can change. We can adapt to the new challenges or the new requirements, and a lot of independence, because we are coming out of as I said, out of the box. Like if you're influenced by your parents, friends, or whoever, like you can have a lot of independence if you go a couple of years outside. And if you go to a non-English speaking country, or even, I mean, not a lot of our English is so good, so we can actually improve our English. The language thing is so good if you go outside the country. And when you go back, like let's say you come out of the country and got a degree in mechatronics, and when you go back, I'm not sure how many of your fellow guys who are applying for a job has a mechatronics degree, artificial intelligence or machine learning or anything of that sort. That's the kind of a big asset. So we can have a different kind of welcoming thing when you go back. It applies mostly to the IT or like cutting edge technologies because they need, I mean, even in India, India is rapidly developing in terms of everything we do. So we need to have a kind of a fast mode education. So it's like you will be received much better if you have a couple of years spending outside India and then go back. Making new friends, that's the big advantage. You can have an international network basically. The cultural differences, like each one has the different culture. I can tell stories and stories from the day one I came out to till now. So it's like our jokes are not their jokes. We can laugh for our petty jokes, but they're not going to laugh. Their jokes are completely different. So just to learn how to socialize with them itself is kind of a big deal. I mean, it's like we will end up in the cultural shock. It's actually related to these challenges and this one together. But we can overcome those by having some experiences outside. So what is the obstacle? Like every one of us want to study abroad, but there are some kind of uh, parameters, I would say, that comes in front of us. I'm just putting my shoes on this, so I just reflect a lot of people who might be in the mediocre or less, who have some thoughts, but they don't know how to pipeline it. So the first thing is lack of motivation because there are a lot of resources now compared to any other time. Like internet is full of information. Like whatever I'm presenting, you can find it somewhere, or you can read about everything. But still, we have lack of motivation. We are not utilizing those tools. Like we are not kind of. I mean, you can have thousands of books, but if you're not reading even a single page, then it's no use. So that's the same thing. Like we lack motivation basically. And the second thing is, even if you are motivated, like I could see like some people might be motivated, they definitely want to do a degree abroad, but what is stopping them is the high cost. Probably they may not have money. It's a big burden. It's not easy. Like you cannot have even if you say like you spend like 5 lakhs, like then the interest will be like around even if you put like 10,000 per annum, like you need to pay like 5 to 10,000 per month. That's just interest. Like I don't know how many of our families can afford that interest because it gives you a tension that when you go back to a different country, whether you can pay that back, like a lot of anxieties associated with that. It's not that easy. So other thing about this lack of motivation I see is no clarity in application process. When I speak about the countries like US, it's kind of clear. I think anyone can help you. There should be a lot of resources for US, as I showed you in the beginning. A lot of people, a majority of people from India, the students go to US for education. And the good thing about the students is they make a forum, they make groups in Facebook and a lot of other social medias, and they are in touch. Like they really help us to be together. But rest of the countries, like I'm pitching at the places where there is no tuition fee because I wanted to kind of go into that focus area. How to apply? Let's say my favorite, Korea. So Korea is not an English-speaking country, so uh, it's very challenging for the first timers to see some language that has kind of broken characters. Like when you see it, you feel like nothing. Like when you go to some pages, you cannot even browse through. Like what are the information there, and what is the application process? Like how much time you need. Probably you're working. Once you are done with your undergrad and you got settled with your work, whether it's a small work or big work, if you're committed, then you may have very little time to understand those application process. And then what to prepare. And you might have, I mean, when I went to South Korea first time, when I was telling that to my relatives and friends, they were like really amazed. Why are you going to South Korea? Like don't you find some other country? Like why do you want to go to South Korea? Because a lot of people within us, they may have a very poor understanding, They could not even differentiate uh, the countries, like for example, two different Koreas, or like sometimes they have an opinion that they might be in Gulf, and then they have seen a couple of laborers from Korea, and then they have imagination that Korea is a poor country. Korea might be a poor country 20 years back, but not now. They are like getting rapidly developed, and they're investing. They are called like I mean, I think I have some slides on that. They are like tigers in investment. They are investing everywhere, and it's like a lot of people are not aware of that. So they will put you, they will make you a stop. So we have to overcome that. You have to find some resources and all that. So this is actually the main reason for this lack of motivation to educate ourselves to go forward. So this is again the about US, because I'm in US. I know how it works here. In US, the immigrants for education, like I'm talking about only students, are primarily dominated by Chinese and Indians, and they come from all parts of this. They are legally competitive, like they spend their life for US, like meaning they prepare the GRE well and they come here. And I'm in the panel for interview. Sometimes I see that when you have a kind of application for a job for a particular, take any particular position, around like 30% of that will be from China, and then another 25% of that will be from India, and the rest will be too small. So the competition is mainly from these two Asian countries. I'm just giving you as an example. It's kind of even from the other countries. So it's in the developed nations, in particular US, it's already dominated by Indians and Chinese. So we, I'm just telling you that it's kind of saturated. And as you know from the visas and other requirements and the stringent requirements of these countries, so it's really difficult. And why people come here to US? And I mean, if you're still motivated, if you still want to come to US, you have to, you should do it, and I can help you with that as well. So why people go to US, and what's the difference between other countries? US, everything is straightforward, everything has records, you can find everything like in the database with so much of accuracy. That's the difference. Like the database exists for each and every country, but for the US, it's more accurate. Like you can get a idea. Like for example, if I become a software engineer, what would be my initial pay? So here are some of the kind of a quick estimation of what your initial pay. Like doctors, they earn very good money. Like anything above 100K is considered here as a kind of an American dream salary. People here make an average of even 47K per year. That's kind of lesser level jobs, but that's the average. So anything about 100K is considered as a good job. You can have your own house, car, and whatnot with about 100K. So this is all like kind of starting, and with the time you can earn more. So that is the big motivation why people compete for US, and then kind of stay here basically. And the other reason they want to stay here is that they might have a big loans in the back and they need to pay back the loan. So they don't want to go back with that 25K or 20K, 20 lakhs loan. They need to also finish it by working in the country they came for studies, and then they want to go back India peacefully. So how much it will cost? Just to give an idea, so that we can kind of compare uh, two different things for the cost estimation. How much it would cost in US? Roughly, it's like $20,000 to $35,000. It's like 15 to 30 lakhs in the public universities, and private universities cost like even more. And if you want to do that, applications in public universities, it's like a standard procedure. You should first have GRE. I wouldn't recommend anyone to go without GRE, because even until your last minute, even until your visa process, they're going to look for your GRE. And then it's TOEFL. If you go to UK, it's IELTS, and if you go to US and rest of the countries, even Canada and closer countries, you need to do the TOEFL. So you have to, if you are thinking about US, just prepare for it. And this much is the cost. You have to prepare. And the thing is, after coming here, you might apply for the scholarship. that's a different story. You may get it, you may not get it, but you have to prepare. Your interest will grow. That's all for US. Like I cannot help with US if you want to think of a tuition-free education abroad. US is US. You have to be prepared for that. And there are several universities, and getting admission in there will be even tougher. Like it depends on your GRE score. It's very straightforward. How much you get in, how much you qualify, how skillful you are, and which university you want. And US has several universities, so we can accommodate, like US can accommodate people based on our level of GRE and then the credentials we have. So what are the kind of other alternatives? So it's like when I try to put these slides in, I found that if I consider Europe and then go inside Europe, that itself is a big presentation, a lot of information. I know that not everyone is going to sit down and note it down. So my idea today, I want to give more. I want to speak more about Asia, but at the same time, since I put the topic so generalized, I don't want to give an idea to the listeners that it's just Asia or South Korea that has this possibility of a free education. No, it's like there are possibilities in everywhere. As I said, I went to Denmark and I did not pay any tuition fee. Even before, like 10 years back in Denmark for a master's, it's like once you get admission, it's free. But now things are rapidly changing. For masters in Denmark, if you are a non-EU citizen, you have to pay a fee. So it's not yet counted. So please do your own research. Why I'm trying to say this is just put the UK outside the loop and put Scandinavian countries like Denmark, Sweden, and Netherlands, Finland. These four countries still have some programs. Like Sweden has some program that's basically make you free. You can apply for it. And outside outside the Scandinavia, if you think of Germany, I think I put a couple of slides in there about the DATS program and Erasmus Mundus. They give you like kind of a scholarship that can cover your entire expenses. So it's possible. So Europe is a destination where if you think you don't have money, you have a lot of motivation, or now you're motivated and you want to go to Europe, there is a possibility. And these four countries have a rich experience. There are several Nobel laureates, and for example, the top universities are in these countries. Once you get education, it's so valuable, it's so prestigious. Even if you think of going to some developed nation later or go back to India, both are possible with a good job. And these countries has a lot of opportunities as well. You can sit in there, stay, work, and a lot of people like European lifestyle. For example, even when I was doing PhD or later postdoc in Denmark, once per year around Christmas time, like 2 months before Christmas, the managers used to send a notification that you have 1 month of vacation, remember to take. Think of that. No managers, I mean, I come from a country where we are like very strict in working and so on. The managers push you to take some vacation. Why those countries are happy? Because they give you they consider you as a human machine, and they also understand that you need some rest. So the managers ask you, instead of you go and ask the managers and give some lame reason, I need this much of time to visit my country. They will ask you, just go and take this month because you need to. Every year you have to finish. And they don't convert that as some money. Instead, they will recommend you, they will kind of keep suggesting you, take that vacation as vacation. Forget about your work, just go back to your home and relax and come back. The reason, the mentality they have is once you take a month off and relax, you can work for the whole next 11 months productively. So that kind of philosophy and the perception, that's kind of a lot of people might like that because it's kind of who in the world will tell us to do that. So going back to Asia, because I have experience in that, and I feel like I can give you some information, and I'm going to stick with South Korea for this discussion because I assume that after this live video, whoever watches will be mostly researchers who have their basic degree. Like if you want your undergrad to go in South Korea or some of the Asian countries, I think that's a different topic. And we are like, it's like a very young kids, like after plus two, 12th grade, and then going abroad for a undergrad degree is a little bit of a like a mindset, and it's like a parental involvement as well. So I'm not touching that topic. That itself is different. And those who come like that from plus two or 12th grade to undergrad, they have a different mindset. They enjoy really. They actually adapt with the country because they are probably more younger than the guy who's doing like 4 years of masters and then coming back. So the caveat here is it's not about undergrad, it's about masters and further like PhD or so on. So how about Asia, right? Like Singapore, as you know, National University of Singapore and Asia, and there are several places where it's highly recognized. It's still in the top tiers. It's in the world ranking, and among that, South Korea is kind of in the top. And I would say Japan is much equivalent or even better. But since Japan is a developed nation, it's kind of more tough, more difficult to enter for a master's program. But South Korea is developing and they respect us in the sense they want the foreigners to come to have a kind of bonding. They want to build a bonding. They want their fellow Koreans to interact with foreigners so that they want to come out. They want them to speak good English and they want to understand the different research from the different part of the country or the different mindset from different part of the country. So they have their own target. Last 2 decades, they are putting a lot of money in their bucket for education and they are welcoming countries like India, Bangladesh, Pakistan, Nepal, Bhutan. I think they welcome Southeast Asia a lot, and even for English, they welcome from Canada and US. That's a different subject. We are not looking for language base. We are mostly into engineering and like whatever gives us some job later on. So I kind of speak in that way. So why South Korea? Again, the quality of education in South Korea is so good. It's like once you are there, you will know what I'm talking about. It actually copies a lot from US system. So once you do the course there, you feel it's no way different. Like they give you a lot of assignments. Like you have to. I mean, once you're done with the 2 hours or 3 hours of lecture, it's like you're not done. You go home and then you have to finish your own assignments. So that way you learn basically. So you learn throughout the day. It's a very different, and the quality of education is very good. And it's world 11th largest economy and fourth largest within Asia. It's also called as Asian tiger in investment and growth. Samsung today it's competing. South Korea is such a small country. It's kind of competing with Apple from US. So Samsung is well-known brand and it's coming from South Korea. It's from the Korean mind basically. The Korean mind. Just think of that, like the entire Samsung phones and the flat screen. Like for the semiconductor industry, they are number one because of their hard work. With less population, with the less knowledge they have, I mean, in the sense like manpower wise, and as I said, only in the last 20 years they're rapidly developing compared to US, let's say. So it's kind of rapidly developing, and it has 400 national and private universities. Uh, their research labs are are awesome. It's like you have everything you want. They have money for, they have the resources. You can buy whatever you want. Like let's say you have a knowledge of some research, particular research, and you couldn't do it because of the resources. Like that's one of my reasons to go abroad. I wanted to do a LED light emitting diode with polymer base. So from the place I am, I couldn't afford even some of the basic requirements to conduct those research. I actually wrote that in my covering letter to my professor. Later on, he welcomed me. I went there. I did what I wanted. I actually collaborated with even the first person who invented this conducting polymers, Professor Alan J. Heeger. He's a Nobel laureate. I mean, a lot of Nobel laureates has their center in South Korea. So South Korea, as I said, they have money. They make some research centers. They bring the most popular professors from different part of the world and make their centers. And by that, what it means that the attention of the world will go there, and the research will be kind of um, state of art, and it will be like equivalent to a developed nation. So all that realize, like all that dream of me sitting in a lab in India, and with less resources. I just came out, and then I see South Korea as giving me everything and developing me basically. That 2 years, as I said, is a golden time. I developed my further research expertise. It's education a prominence in the nation, which means that it is like, as I said, they're a little bit stricter than any other country with education and the exams and so on, but it's definitely like worth doing it. So how to apply for these courses? Let me skip that bachelor. It's like master's program, and it's like you have to file an application and you have to prepare with the letter of recommendation. And the application is not normal. It's not going to be like one word. They're going to ask you your motivation. So you have to write a lot. Like you have to be really like say, like as I said, I gave a proper reason for them. Like I want to do a LED. I want to make that polymers as a conducting electrodes, and I'm kind of fed up with the lack of resources. And this was my motivation letter, and I kind of uh, put that, echoed that in a lot of my application. Like I put so realistic. Like I didn't put dramatically saying that, oh, I'm going to change Korea to a different country or so on, but they look for all aspects of you, whether you're motivated, what is your current project, like how much you are into research, and they will also going to kind of think of how much it's going to benefit your own country and actually Korea, because they are inviting you, and they also say that if you're good, let's say you're a very brilliant student, you go for masters, and whether you will stick with PhD, they will check that. So there would be a column saying that what is your 5 years goal, what is your 10 years goal, and whether will you be willing to continue as a PhD student. So you might, once you start to feel it, you feel like, oh no, this is too much, I'm going to stop, and then you might give like one word answers. That's not going to work, because there is other candidate from a different country who's going to fill that out completely. So take some help, expert help, write in a proper English, check your grammar, and write it in a way that they will look your application, because the committee is going to sit down and review it line by line. And they want to have that in a simple English, because as you know, the researchers and the professors who are going to be in the committee, they may not know complex. I'm not saying that like they studied from Cornell and famous universities, they know English, but they want it to be simple sentence. They want to keep it kind of easy to understand. I will skip the requirements because it varies, broadly varies depending on the country, uh, and then the university. And the other important thing I would say for you guys is the statement of purpose. So write it nice, neat, and like use someone's help. Just don't be too fast. The entire thing, what I'm trying to say is, give a top priority. Just think that it is kind of very important for you. If you think that way, you will write it nicer and echo, as I said, some realistic approach. And also, just before going sending the applications, review the department you want to go. They're going to ask you the choices of departments and choices of professors. So I think I have it in the next slide. That's so important if you're trying to do that application in South Korea. You have to be crystal clear about your department and the professor. Once you know the professor, you need to review their website and the group's achievements, and you need to kind of touch that lines in the statement of purpose and in the application letter. It's very important saying that I have interest in the area you have interest to. I'm not asking you to lie. Just find some professors who might have done in researches, or like the courses you did, and they're doing research in that line. You can just connect this and that. Like I did a course on this subject, and then I see the professor is doing the same, and you can just say that I read your paper, and you can actually list a couple of points, important points. So this kind of thing give them a lot of attention, like, oh yeah, this guy did a lot of homework, than someone who just saying that I want to go to this lab or that lab. So there are several there is no consultancies, but there are some resources I think I have in this website, in the slides, like that helps you. Seoul National University, in English it's called Seoul. They pronounce it as Seoul. It's kind of a popular, and it's still among the top world ranking institutes. It's quite difficult to get in there, but I wouldn't say that go to Seoul National University. If you get it, just go it. But just there are several opportunities. There are so big universities, so many universities that are so big and they are welcoming. They have a lot of scholarship in that. Particularly, look for just try to get this link. They are like kind of a recent. They are originally started only for master's PhD as a research institute, so they will not be in the world ranking. Mm, it's like research institute. So research institutes are not listed in the world rankings, but they put a lot of money and very great professors. Like they come mostly from US, like they're educated from US and then they went there. And recently they're turning just into university. They have opened undergrad as well. So that the main idea I feel is they want to be in the list, and it will be in the list. And just as one example, there are something called UNIST, which is not popularly listed in the sites you may check. It's a research institute, and it has a lot of openings and a lot of young professors. The good thing about the new universities is they filter out and they choose a professor who's really clever. And in Korea, getting a professorship is so difficult. It's not as India or somewhere. It's like they do their super hard work to become a professor in South Korea. So those good hardworking professors need some students because they have a sitting money. Sitting money means once they become a professor, they have a capital money that's given by their institutes. So they have money. So they want to give it to someone and start the business. Like they want to run their lab because the first 2 years they might have a very difficult target. They need to publish some papers, or they need to have to accomplish their own goals. So they are looking keenly, and they don't know where to find people because they are not experienced. At the same time, we need to find professors. So these are the key points. Young professors are kind of a good target, especially for masters, because PhD level young professors lab might not have sufficient enough stuff. You go and build basically, but you can collaborate with other labs. Like it's all about getting admission. Once you get admission in your desired course or desired lab, you can work with the neighbors, friends, and you can publish papers, and you can keep move on. And professor knows how to build his lab and so on. So the thing about the GIST is called Guangzhou Institute of Science and Technology, the one I mentioned. I don't want to give you like each and every universities. It's like kind of advertising South Korea, but I won't put my thoughts about this just in particular. So it's like a 2 times admission. I think its main admission is in the spring semester around October 15th. Here are some of the dates that I have shown, and one of the best. Like if you have time, if you're really willing, if you think that oh, I can fit in here, just go through this website. And as I said, if you think that you want more, like 2 more, 3 more universities, check in this line. There are some latest universities, like new universities. UNIST, UNIST. This is popularly called GIST, and most of the time they put like Institute of Technology, so it's like UNIST, UNIST. It's another one that's so popular and getting very good attention and traction. So the secret, as I think I actually mentioned the secret, like when you fill the application, don't even submit it if you did not contact a professor. So this is kind of so important. I mean, I don't know what you listen so far and what you get so far, but if you're willing to apply for these, the first thing you should know is you should be finding like-minded people. Like your research that should match with someone, and try to contact them. When you contact, don't just say all your troubles. Like don't write to them in a nasty language so that they don't see, because this secret is kind of open now. A lot of people do that, and they know that, as you know, in India, a lot of people are looking for opportunities. They receive like tens of emails every day. Their inboxes are full. Some big professors are not willing to read it. They just like throw it away. So it's a competition. So you have to reflect it. You have to write point by point bullet points and just go. You have like few seconds for them to delete it. So within that few seconds, you have to get their attention. So once you get an attention, and then they say in the email that go forward and apply. This is the key word. Most of the professors say that I don't have opportunity at this point. They're good. They read your email. That's a success. That's a learning point for you. Most of them will say this, like, oh, I don't think so I can take you for this time, or they would not reply. The good professors reply and say some reasons, but which means that you have written a good email and then they have read it. The first step, preliminary step, is that giving an attention to it. And once they say like somewhere, like this is like 3 weeks of try, I would say don't even submit it if you don't get this reply. One professor would say go and apply. When he say go and apply, that means he was looking for your application. He will be going as a committee in the selection process. He cannot do anything because it's an institution, it's a university. So you have to go through the process, but he's willing. That's what he said. The way it works is this professor will be in the panel and he will recall, like he get 10 applications and the 10 are strangers and the 10 looks super good. He don't know whom to select. Then he will recall, oh, I just initiated a talk with that particular girl. Maybe I can select that, because Asia work with references. They want a feedback from someone. Like they have to perceive like I know him. I'm taking a good student. They have that anxiety that, because there are some troublemakers. They come from different country. They sit in there and then they go on top of their head and they go and write to the head of the countries. I mean, head of the president of the university, saying this professor is troublesome if he's too strict. This is a cultural difference. They cannot adopt. And that also happens for the professors who are only educated in Korea. Like, for example, this professor is in Cornell. So he came out of South Korea. He knows what's outside Korea. So he can understand foreigners. There are some people who just within the country and they have their own culture. And when they see a foreigner who's a little bit lousy and they find the cultural gap, then he's going to behave a little bit different. So those are the kind of problem that we face, and some people cannot take that, and they go and kind of misuse the professor. So they are scared too to take someone who's not nice. So they want to make sure that. So the other way, the other secret is to find some fellow beings there who can recommend you, who knows you, and they can tell about like, oh, this girl is applying to your lab. Do you want to have to take? Like if the professor replied you, then if you contact them in that way, they will also help you. So that's kind of the word of mouth. That's powerful basically. And then they still review if you don't have your IELTS score. And also before the application, make sure that you have IELTS score, because that's one of the requisite. Uh, they might give an option that you can come back to Korea and take 2 week or something, but you will not be in the competition at all. You need that IELTS for sure, because that English score is not just for your language. They will check that as a merit. It's like how much hard work you put to get that. And like for example, two application, and then they put in the Excel sheet like about all the categories, who's best, and then you got like a 9 in the IELTS and the other one got like 7, then they choose you, because it's tough. This is competition, like everyone is applying, so they need to find some points like why I'm selecting you. So just do that as well beforehand. So the South Korean country like has a lot of opportunity. As I mentioned about the Samsung, it's a country where it born. Sam means five, Sung means star. It's like a 5 star. Like you can call that as a 5 star company, and it's kind of it's in the top of the mountain. It developed so much, and LG is the Lucky Gold. Originally, it was like Lucky Gold Star, and later it become like Lucky Gold and Gold Star. It's a Korean company. Like we all know LG, fridge, TV. I mean, before Samsung's thing, like LG is most popular. GS, they split into LG and GS, and GS is not popular outside Korea, but still it's popular inside Korea. You can buy GS phone. It's kind of two ventures which separated. And Kia, I mean, I'm seeing that in India it's developing a lot, and a lot of people are buying Kia cars. Hyundai, i10, and all the cars, Posco. These are for the non fields that I didn't know, but there are several companies, chocolate companies, Lotte, and all that is from Korea, and they're like you have jobs. But for example, some of the popular countries where they need foreigners is like global, they might take you as a foreigner. But some of these local companies, they may not take you as a foreigner. You need to learn the language. So that's where the problem comes in. But for those courses, if you go to the standard universities, the top tier Korean universities, you like I didn't learn Korean at all. Like I did the base. They have a basic course you have to pass to get the master's degree. I did that basic, and you need that. Like you want to go to a shop and ask for a milk, and you want to check it's a milk. Like you like this, those are basic, and you enjoy actually. You need that, but it's not important that you need to go and communicate with someone in Korean or something. So it's optional until the point that if you want to become a hardcore Korean company, then you need to really learn, because if you grow there and kind of work there, Koreans, when they give you money, they will be very strict about it. They want you to work because Koreans work really hard. We are competing with that population. So they make it little difficult. But the global companies, there are a lot of opportunities. They even have the kind of entrance exam and they recruit a lot of foreigners. But forget about working in South Korea. You can go to several other countries. Just do the education and go back to your own country or some developed nations, because you got a valuable degree in your hand that's going to go with you for several years. So that's what I did. But at the same time, I want to give something back to Korea. Like it's in my mind all the time because that changed my life. So that's why I'm even sitting here around 6 a.m. in US to explain this, because I'm so grateful to this country. I'm so grateful to these universities for the infrastructure and everything they gave. So coming back to the resources, so if you want to know more, because I cannot cover everything today, but if you want to know more details, just note this down. You can take a screenshot or something like that. The studyinkorea.go.kr. I don't know who developed that. It's probably the Korean government based. It has everything. Just spend some time. It's a valuable tool. You will be motivated and you get every information, because the other websites might be in Korean. I mean, I'm saying local websites. And the guys who write blog about Korea, they might repeat information from somewhere. Don't trust that much. It's not a latest. I don't know when they wrote the blog. The blogs are seeking more attention because it's easily browsable and it's non-English speaking nation. So, and the actual website will be difficult. So when something is free, it's not easy. You have to put your effort. You have to really work hard to get those information. You have to connect. You have to talk with people. If you're ready to pay, then it's straightforward. You have information like US or UK. And there are a lot of consultancies who don't even charge you. They charge from the university, but you have to pay. And somehow they charge from you. So that's the option is with you. So the scholarship. So I mean, why I picked these scholarships is because I know they're 100% true. Like for example, me, I did 2 years of course. As I said, I was earning only just a scholarship, this thing, like around $15,000 per month for the whole 2 years, and I did not pay a penny as a tuition fee. I got admission. I took my ticket fare, and they gave me the ticket, even one-way ticket. Who in the world for your studies who give you ticket and invite you to their country? And they gave me 15,000 rupees. I mean, I'm translating that to Indian rupees for 2 years. On top of that, after going there, since I took efforts to write my application neat, and they kind of judged me as a potential candidate, they gave me the most. I think it's somewhat this one. They changed the names. It's a Brain Korea and all that. They have different names. Even this could be outdated. Korean government scholarships. It's called MOST, Ministry of Science and Technology scholarship. I got like 50K on top of it. So after undergrad, I was in a short period of job, like for 3-4 months, where I was earning like 7K, 7,000 rupees. I went to GIST, and then I started to earn GIST scholarship 15,000 rupees per month. On top of that, I won the Korean scholars that gave me like 65,000 for the whole 2 years. So, and then I'm still studying. I'm still studying master's program. So it's not only free of cost, it gives you money. You can support your family. I came from a simple background, family background, so I need to give them back. So I really enjoyed that situation. And to be honest with you, Korea is the education expenses in Korea, living expenses in Korea is too less, way less compared to any other developed nation. So you can live a simple life. And basically, you're going to cook because the food in Korea is not easily adaptable by everyone. Like those who are like food wishers and those who have open mind about everything, they are fine. But for the rest of the people, it's like you may need to cook. Like you need to go and buy your own stuff, and you may need to cook. So these are the numbers, like for a 2 years program. And doctoral, don't get scared about the 7 years. there are some people I know who spend 7 years, but you no need to do that. Recently, they are like rapidly changing. They're graduating you in 4 years. They understood the difficulty of 7 years, but it could extend if you are locked. Like if you are super skilled. Let's say what happens is you go there for a doctoral course, and the professor likes you, and you have built super nice equipment that gave him like several papers, publications, and some good reputation for him. He wants to keep you because you are low cost, and he wants to keep you until he finds someone who's similar to you. Like sometimes they use that as an opportunity, and they keep you hanging there until you transfer the knowledge to someone. So just go and read the psychology of the lab, try to have someone. I mean, it's very common in Korea. There is always some freebies around you, like who wants to shadow you. You should shadow someone and try to share the knowledge so that once you want to relieve, you can relieve. So it's about the psychology of the lab, and don't worry about this. You can graduate in 4 years in South Korea with all these allowances. So is it common to all universities? No, it is very specific. Things are rapidly changing. The first 10-year program they had, the time I was in there, it's like they're welcoming with their own. As I said, they even paid for my ticket. And by the time I finished, that first 10 years is also was ending. They become strict, like they made it tough, and they understand that it is attracting a lot of people. So the competition is high, like a lot of applications, and they are kind of thinking, oh yeah, now we are grown, like, and then they're changing the things, but still things are open. We are not, it's not too late. This 10 years is like still they have opportunities, but not in each and every universities. There are some universities. So you can browse through. As I said, this is all my 2007 to like 2010 experience. So now it's 10 years. I mean, I become as a professional now, and then I'm not applying, and I'm just like trying to help people who wants to apply and so on. So just do the homework. There is a lot of opportunity. And as I said about the Europe, I don't want to complete my presentation without telling about these two. I know that the lot of clever people must know about this too. If you are learning this today as first, just go to this website. DAD, they call DAD, and then Erasmus Mundus. They both have a lot of programs. This is like a different deal. This is like they are the scholarship you apply, get awarded, and then choose the universities. And you go as the Erasmus Mundus fellow, and then study in the desired country. You can spend 1 year in Sweden, and I know one guy who spent 1 year in UK as well. I think UK is a little bit different because they don't involve in any of these benefits. Um, Sweden and let's say Denmark, that's possible. You can choose two countries or two universities with this program once you get it done. A little bit competitive, but it's still possible, and you don't spend a penny for this. So that's kind of available resource, and you can just kind of do your own research on these subjects. This has a lot of opportunity as well. So in conclusion, you can do your master's or PhD. I mean, I don't know, depending on whatever level you are, even for free of cost or with additional benefits. It's not just free, you can earn money. So if you are tied up with the family-based financial situation, don't give up. You can earn. Like it's kind of like I know a lot of people who are in the job, they don't want to leave mainly because they are getting a stable income and they don't want to change that because they need to support their family. If you're in that situation, like me, for example, you need to come out. There are a lot of chances. Still, you can study. Still, you can support your family. Still, you can earn whatever you want, and there are resources for that. And if any of this information are useful to you and you want to learn more specific though, and you have some particular question specific to some of these countries or with respect to the labs I'm being or the countries I'm being, you are welcome. You can comment it, or you can it's not commenting, it's just you can write me, inbox me about your questions or your feedback on my LinkedIn. I know that it's not a cut and paste link right now here, but you can use this keywords like Mohammed Hussein, PhD, and you will find me. So I would be happy or eager. The whole reason I'm giving this is I want someone to get utilized. And if you're utilizing, and if you let me know that you utilize this, I'll be so happy. Yeah, that's all from me.
Yeah, thank you so much, Doc, for this nice presentation. I hope this will help many students and many researchers who are trying to get their dream come true to study in abroad. Um Before we conclude, I would like to inform all the participants this whole session will be available on Research Circle YouTube channel. If you want to watch it again or if you want some information in it, you can just go to the Research Circle YouTube channel. You will find there the whole session. Or if you want to share to your friends or research colleagues as well, you can do that. So before we end, I would like to thank Dr. Hussain for taking out the time for us and describing this whole thought to us, because many researchers are unaware of that thing. They do have their hard work, they know other things, but they don't know the process actually, and they don't know the resources what are available there. So surely this will help many researchers and students. So at last, thank you so much, and with your due permission, I would like to conclude today's session here.
Thank you everyone for taking time, and thank you again for the Research Circle for taking some kind of platform for all of us. Thank you.
Thank you.